All right, you guys, I am happy to have Kevin Austin, one of the leaders and one of the mentors, just to help us out on creating your list.
Right.
When you get started as a fire, what do you do right away?
Yeah.
All right, Kevin, share with us.
Hey, what's going on, fam? Definitely. So, let me just get to it here. So, one of the things that I did, and I have my people do, is when we have a new fire coming in, the first thing that they do is they'll write down the names of 10 people, right? Just 10 people. Most people know 10 people. Now, here's the key to that. Just write the names down. Don't try to figure out if they're going to do it or not. Don't try to figure out if they have, the funds to gift or not. That's not what the exercise is for. The first thing you want to do is just write down the 10 names. Once you've written down the 10 names, right, what I do is I get with the person and we do what's called vetting, meaning that we go through those 10 names to determine the relationship that you have with that person. So for example, right, let's say you wrote down 10 names. Let's just say one of the person's name is Michael. So I'll say, hey, okay, who's Michael? How close are you to Michael? Can you go to Michael's house and, go into Michael's refrigerator? I mean, are you guys really, really close, right? So I ask questions like that because we've got to really get a good understanding of how close you and Michael are. So let's say you say, no, Michael and I are really close, or Michael is my cousin, or Michael is a real good friend. We've been friends for the last 15, 20 years, right? Then we'll put an H by that person. What is H, right? I break the names down into three categories: hot, warm, cold. Hot is someone that you're really close to, someone that, if you were to go to their house, hey, you could just walk in the house. If you need something to drink, you go to the refrigerator, pour yourself a drink. It's like you're being at home. Warm is someone where you're close, right? You can go to that person's house. You may not be able to go in the refrigerator like that, but there's a relationship there. Cold is someone you've just met recently. You guys are still getting to know each other, right? So we break that list down into hot, warm, cold. Now, the key to it is, right, if you've got more hot people on that list than cold people, that's perfect. Or more hot and warm people than cold, that's great. So the ratio I use is, if someone has a list and they have four people that are hot, maybe three people that are warm, and three that are cold, that's cool because those hot people we could actually work with. We want to contact them first. So we go through that whole vetting process of identifying who the person is, how close you are to the person, and we put an H or a W or a C. And again, that stands for hot, warm, cold. And then at that point, we'll say, hey, okay, reach out to these individuals because they're the hot people. They're the ones that you could just have a conversation with, right? And again, you're not trying to recruit anybody. You're not trying to sell anything. What you're doing is you've come across an opportunity. You've got to be excited about it. That's changing your life and you're excited about it. And all you want them to do is watch a video or join a meeting. That's it, right? So here's a situation. Let's say you're talking to someone who's warm, right? And this is really important to understand. Warm again means it's someone that you're close to, you've got a relationship, but maybe you hadn't spoken in a while. So let's say maybe 6 or 7 months have gone by. Now I've got some buddies, right, that we're so close, we might not speak for 7 or 8 months, and then we'll talk again and pick right up on where we left off, like we never left off. Well, that person's, of course, would be hot. That would be a close person. But let's say the person is warm, you hadn't spoken to them in a while, and you call them. The purpose in you calling them is not for you to ram an opportunity down their throat or for them to join the community, right? So, for example, it'll be like, hey, Mike, what's going on, bro? I know it's been a while since we've talked, man. How's the family? How's the family doing? So you're just really kind of catching up. Oh, man, yeah, the family's doing okay. You're talking about the social things going on. You may be talking about COVID-19 or whatever. But the key to this conversation, right, is basically you're catching up on things. And to put it in a technical term, you're kind of making the person hot, right? You're going from warm to hot. Now, in that conversation, it's very important, and you've got to hear these words. You've got to listen to understand. Unfortunately, family, most people listen to respond. What that means is while the person is speaking, the other person is formulating in their mind how they're going to respond. So they're already thinking about what they're going to say before the person's even finished saying it. So you've got to listen to understand. So as I'm communicating with Mike and we're catching up, Mike may say something like, yeah, man, I'll tell you what, this whole COVID-19, man, it's hit my finances real hard. Well, guess what? Mike just created an opening. So I'll come back and go, well, oh yeah, you know what, man? I came across this family and friends thing, man, that I've been with this community, man. It's been beautiful. I actually got gifted last week and it was wonderful. And I might ask Mike, are you familiar with the family and friends sharing or the flower model? He may say yes, he may say no. Whatever he says, that's fine, because now I understand what a pain point is for Mike, right? A pain point is, man, he's been hit hard financially. So now I have an opportunity to share the opportunity with him. So I hope you catch that, right? A lot of times we call people and we're so anxious to get them to hear what we want to say and get them involved in something until we forget that this is a person that has things going on and so forth. So you've got to make sure that you're actively listening. It's called actively listening, right? That you're listening to what the person is saying and that you're empathetic. And if an opportunity presents itself, then so be it. You invite the person. But if an opportunity doesn't at that time, then guess what? You just basically gotten reconnected with someone, and then the next time you call, you can basically talk about the community. So hopefully that makes sense. Just wanted to give you a real quick tidbit on that. But again, get your list. Don't call anyone yet. Vet the list and make sure you know who's who, because each person, the conversation may be different. Hopefully that helps you out.
All right, buddy. Let's do a quick run through on somebody that's hot. All right.
Sure.
I'll be your guy. I'll be your buddy you talk to all the time, or you're hot with.
Yeah. So hey, Milton, what's going on, man?
Man, nothing much, man. Just a long day at work.
Listen, I came across something. Have you ever heard of like the flower community, friends and family sharing community?
Man, that Susu, man, it's on Facebook everywhere, man. That pyramid scheme, I didn't heard of.
I don't know about that old Facebook thing, dog, because I'll tell you what, man, I'm involved in a community. I actually got gifted last week. So listen, here's what I want to do. And I want to send you a link, because it doesn't sound like you know a lot about it, because all that stuff on the internet, number one, if it's on Facebook, then because that's not how the community works. It's family and friends. You invite people that you're close to, people that are like-minded like you. It's not about recruiting. So listen, I want to send you a link. I need you to do me a favor, man. Just watch the dang on video. It's only 15 minutes. I'm going to call you back in 15 minutes, okay?
Man, I don't got time for that, man. Come on, Kev.
Dog,
man,
listen,
I work hard, man.
We both work hard, dog. Come on now. I know we work hard, and that's the whole point. We work hard. This thing has made a difference, brother. And I want, just do me a favor. Just watch the dang on video. It's only 20 minutes, man. 15 minutes. You can't give me 15 minutes to watch a video.
Man, but my friends know and family, man, my sister was just involved in something like that. She lost $500. They made a whole bunch of promises. Kev,
Dog, this Kev, man. How far back do we go? Do you think I'm going to get you in anything that makes no sense? You know me. If I'm looking at something, I've researched it inside and out, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's true.
Okay, so I need you to look at the video for me, man. Just watch the video.
All right, Kev. I'll do it for you.
All right. Dog, I appreciate it. Listen, it's 15 minutes. I'm going to call you back in 20 minutes, right?
Okay.
Okay, cool.
Gotcha.
All right. So that's two friends talking, right? That's how I talk with my friends, and that's how they speak with me, right? And even if they don't have the 15 minutes at that moment, right? I may say, listen, just watch the video. I'll give you a call back later on tonight. But the point is, you want to get them to watch the video, because did you hear the first thing he said? Oh, you mean that Susu thing that's on Facebook? Oh, man, that's, most people have that interpretation, right? So you got to realize that when you're talking with someone about something, you have to understand their perception of that thing you're talking about, and you've got to be empathetic and understanding to that, right? So if that person's real close, like they're hot, like Milton and I are, that's how I'm going to have that conversation. Dog, listen, just do it for me, right? And then once he watches the video and I call him back, if he has any questions, guess what I'm going to do? Either I'm going to get him on the call, or I'm going to get him in front of somebody that has more knowledge of it. Because guess what? I know that it's not something that's bad or whatever, because I'm in it, but I may not be able to articulate it the way that one of the leaders can. So it's very important that you get that person in front of someone that has the knowledge, right? Because it's your relationship that's going to get them to listen to you, because they trust you in that relationship. But how many of you got family members, right? You tell them something and they'll go, oh, okay. And then a perfect stranger will come back and say the exact same thing you just said 2 hours ago, and it'll be like the person discovered fire. Oh man. And you're like, man, I just said that 2 hours ago. Well, that's just human nature, right? People tend to, they listen to other people differently than they may listen to someone that they're close to, right? So you got to keep that in mind. So you want to get that person either on the call, or you want to get them in front of someone that has the knowledge. And when that happens with me, the first thing I do is I edify the person that, like I edify the friend. Like I'm like, man, you know what? I've been working with so and so for X amount of time. This person's like really top shelf. Because here's the thing you got to remember: they've known each other for years. So this person knows all the good, bad, and the ugly about that person. And now this person is trying to get them to, come into a community and gift this and get this back in 4 weeks. And they're like, man, I remember when you tried to start a business a year ago and it flopped, right? So those are the kinds of things you're dealing with. So you got to make sure that, you got to get your person or your people in front of someone that is knowledgeable and has the integrity and the character and the values, right, that represent the community. That's very, very important.
Got you. Somebody cold. So good. Thanks for sharing that, Kev. Now, say if you get somebody warm, you said, I think you mentioned earlier, have a conversation, listen. Don't listen to respond, but listen.
Listen to understand.
Listen to understand. Yeah. Then if the opportunity comes up, then you plant that seed and go from there.
Right.
Cold person. How do you deal with the cold person that's on your list?
Well, normally you won't really invite a cold person to the community, right? Because that person's cold. That's why it's family and friends, right? You're not out recruiting people, right? Because it's not some pyramid type situation. You're touching people that you know, that you care about, that you know are like-minded, that you know are like-hearted, like-spirited. But in reference to a person who's cold, right? You want to build the relationship, because one of the first things you've got to establish with someone is it's called rapport. What is rapport? Rapport is when you've met someone or when you meet someone, right? And you form a person like, okay, I can trust this person, or I feel good about this person. For example, have you ever met someone and you just had a real strange, awkward feeling? Now, you've never met the person before. You don't know who the person is. But it's like, ooh, I'm getting a real strange feeling. Well, you got to understand that you've never met that person. Well, you may be having this strange feeling because maybe that person reminds you of someone from your past that maybe didn't do something the right way. Or that person may be wearing an outfit that reminds you of something, of an outfit a person was wearing when that person didn't do something right by you, right? It might be the color of their clothes. It might be the sound of the person's voice. It may even be the cologne or perfume the person is wearing, right? Because you got to remember that we're built to remember. And when something has hurt us, right, we store that information so that we can be prepared for it the next time. So whenever you're dealing with a situation where you're just meeting someone, the most important thing is not trying to invite them to the community. It's not trying to tell them about the flower or friends and family. It's really about establishing a good relationship out the gate so that that relationship can now grow, right? It may be 3 weeks, 4 weeks before you can even mention anything to this person. But here's what might happen. In your conversations, right, this person may say something and go, hey, you know what? Someone came to me about this flower thing or whatever. Are you familiar with that? Ooh, now isn't that sweet? Now you can respond to it, right? Because now the person's asking you, because now you've built rapport and you've established some type of relationship. No, you didn't know, it's not a 15-year, 10-year, 5-year relationship. It may be a 15-day relationship. But the most important thing is that rapport, because if a person doesn't feel that he or she can trust you, then nothing else you say after that is going to make any sense. I mean, think about it. If you feel that you can't trust someone, you may listen, but you're not going to take seriously what the person is saying because there's a lack of trust. So you've got to understand that each individual is a different individual. You can't put people in a box and think they're going to do this or do that, or they're going to say this or say that. You've got to communicate and interact with each individual individually and establish whatever that relationship is going to be.
Gotcha. So you go down on that list. This is not a person you do know, but a person you feel like is unlikely, or you presume.
Right. Yeah. Number one, don't do that. Right?
Okay.
Because one of the things that you'll find is that sometimes the people you think won't are the ones that will. And sometimes the ones that you think will are the ones that won't, right? One of the biggest mistakes you can make is trying to pre-qualify someone, because you got to understand we all have our own biases, right? So we're trying to qualify or pre-qualify someone not based on them, but we're basing it on what we think the person may or may not be. So don't do that, right? I mean, have the conversation, be honest, have integrity, have character, be genuine, and then everything will take its course from that point. Some may say yes, some may say no. That's okay, right? Some may say, hey, not right now. I can do this a month from now. That's awesome too, right? But you just got to be prepared to receive what it is you receive. Don't take it personal, because it's not personal, right? Everyone is in their own space, Everyone is dealing with what they're dealing with, and we've got to remember that there's a lot going on around us, and there's a lot going on around people. And sometimes people may not see something the way we see it, but we got to keep on loving on them, respecting them, and keeping the train moving forward.
Gotcha. All right, I have 1 minute left. Give me the top 3 things you shouldn't do, and the top 3 things you should do with your list and then with talking with them.
Right. Top thing is prejudging, pre-qualifying. Don't do that. Don't pre-qualify. Don't think the person will. Don't think the person won't. Just present the opportunity to become a member of the community. Number 2, unless you have a very hot person, like you're really good friends, like the example with Milton and I earlier, right? Don't try to explain it. Just try to get them on the call, get them the video, get them in front of someone that really understands it. And then number 3, right? You've got to be honest. You got to be, and you have the integrity, right? You've got to understand that the reason you're doing this is because you're trying to help someone. It's not so much you're trying to get 1,500 people or 200 people or 300 people. It's not about the people. It's about the quality of the individuals at that time. So it's not a numbers game, right? So that's the 3rd thing. So 1, don't try to pre-qualify. Don't do it, right? Number 2, right? Don't try to explain it, especially when you're brand new. You just, unless you really understand it, right? And number 3, you got to let it take its course. You just really got to let it take its course and understand that this person may be okay, this person may not be okay. Just don't take it personal.
Got you. Kev, man, I appreciate you, man. I'm excited for all of our new fires who are joining. Please get with the person who invited you. And again, let's connect arms as a community and let's go to work. You guys have a blessed day.
Deuces.